When I was 9 years old, my parents moved us out of town to a quiet wooden house at the edge of Pine Hollow. The place wasn't big, but the backyard stretched wide, and the windows looked straight into the trees. At night, when the wind moved through the branches, it sounded like someone whispering just beyond the glass. Both my parents worked long hours at a factory nearly an hour away, which left me with only our dog, Odin, to keep me company. Things felt simple and safe until Sarah, my babysitter since I could remember, announced she was leaving for college. My parents scrambled to find someone new. That Monday morning, Rachel arrived. 16 years old, tall and thin, with long black hair and eyes that seemed to linger on the tree line more than on me. She smiled politely when she met my mother, but her gaze kept drifting past the back porch out into the woods. "It's beautiful," she whispered, almost to herself, "like the forest is calling." The way she said it sent a chill through me, though my mother didn't notice. She gave a few instructions and hurried off to work. The day passed quietly. Rachel tried making conversation while I sat on the floor with my Sega. Each time I glanced at her, she was perched by the window, lips moving faintly, like she was speaking to someone I couldn't see. On the third day, Rachel stepped into my room while I played. "We should go outside," she said with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "It's better in the woods." I shook my head. She sat on the edge of my bed, lowering her voice. "Then let's play family. I'll be the big sister, and you'll be my little brother. Out there in the woods, that's where we really belong." I told her I didn't want to. She ignored me, calling me by a name I'd never heard, Eli. Each time I corrected her, she only smiled wider, the corners of her mouth stretching like she was forcing it. That afternoon, she led me onto the porch. "Listen," she said, "the woods knock for us 3 times." I strained my ears, and from somewhere in the distance came a hollow sound. Knock, knock, knock. "It's just the wind," I muttered, though I wasn't sure. Rachel shook her head, eyes shining. "That's Mother." When my mother came home, Rachel was cheerful, helpful, polite. I almost told her what had happened, but fear stopped me. That night, lying in bed, I heard it again, 3 steady knocks echoing from the forest. The next morning, Rachel convinced me to ride our bikes. Instead of circling the neighborhood, she steered us down a dirt path that cut deep into Pine Hollow. We came to a cabin, blackened and sagging, as if it had once burned. The windows were shattered, the roof scarred with char. Rachel walked straight to the door and knocked 3 times. The sound echoed through the empty woods, and then, faint but certain, the knocks came back. 3 of them. Her smile broke wide. "See? Mother's home." I tried to pull away, but she gripped my wrist, eyes locked on the door. A sour smell drifted out, like smoke and ashes that never faded. Rachel shouted, voice breaking, "I brought him back. Dad can't leave us forever." The cabin stayed silent. Only the wind hissed through the trees. She pounded the door until her hands turned red, then whirled on me, furious and trembling. "You're just like him," she spat. "But he'll have to choose again. Soon." On the ride home, she said nothing else. That night, I begged my mother not to leave me with Rachel again. She promised we'd find someone new. For the first time in days, I thought I might be safe. The following day, I stayed with the elderly couple across the road. But sometime after lunch, restless and bored, I slipped back home to grab a toy. I crept up to my room and froze. Rachel was waiting, sitting on my bed. In her hand, a rusted knife gleamed. "We have to go to her," she whispered, eyes wild. In one swift motion, she tied my wrists with rope yanked from our garage. My cries caught in my throat when she pressed the blade close to my neck. Quiet, Eli. Tonight the family comes back together. Dad will see you. From outside, the sound came again. 3 knocks, sharp against the house, as if someone stood just beneath the window. Rachel shut her eyes and smiled. Mother's calling. Rain began to fall, heavy and cold. She dragged me across the porch, the rope biting into my skin. The forest loomed, dark and endless, swallowing the last of the daylight. Rachel pulled me down the muddy path, the knife glinting in the stormlight. The knocking led us, steady and patient, guiding us through the trees. We stopped at the burned cabin. Its door creaked open by itself. Something moved inside. A figure stepped out, blackened, scorched, skin hanging in charred ribbons, hair clumped with ash. The shape raised a hand and rapped 3 times on the doorframe. Rachel broke into sobs, clutching me so tight I couldn't breathe. See, we're whole again. The family is together. The door yawned wide. Darkness spilled out. The last thing I remember was being pulled inside, the sound of the door slamming shut and the forest falling silent. I lived. I don't know how. Pieces of that night are gone, erased like they were never mine to keep. The police said the cabin burned to the ground. Nothing left but cinders. Rachel, or Amanda, as I later learned, was never found. Now, 23 years later, I have a son of my own. He's 9, the same age I was. Some nights he stands at his bedroom window and whispers to me, "Dad, there's a girl out there in the trees. She's smiling at me." And then when the house grows quiet, I hear it again. Knock, knock, knock.